this on. Oh, oops, wrong thing to pull. There we go. Morning, everybody. Just gotta wipe all this stuff down real quick. How's everybody doing this morning? Thanks for the likes. Sure, I vacuum all the time, but sawdust is a never-ending presence in this freaking shop. Ohayou gozaimasu, Chakabe! See, I don't know. I had to switch Saturday staining to mornings. Normally I do it at like 12:30 or 1, and I don't know. I'm thinking about switching it to Fridays because maybe like Friday afternoons instead of Saturday mornings. Because the truth is, all this stuff is usually done by Friday. So it would make more sense maybe for me to just do it after I get done with work on Friday afternoon instead of doing it this early on a Saturday. Because I don't know anybody who wants to be awake this early on Saturdays. I don't even want to be awake this early on Saturdays. But if I don't, then I don't get to have a Saturday. So I just end up working all day. All right, well, gotta clean my hands real quick. All right, glove up here. Hey, what's up, Enchanted? Welcome. So I gotta make sure my hands are dry before I try to put these gloves on. Probably blowing on my hands looks weird. These nitrile gloves do not like moisture. Morning, everybody. You got any questions or comments, stick those in the chat. Got a bunch of stuff to tung oil and stain this morning. I got this custom baton. We're gonna tung oil this. It's a hickory. Got a hickory donbong. We're working on a practice spear. That's the spearhead shafts over here. I got a bunch of stakes I gotta stain up. And I got this Kamaru Western style boken we have to tung oil. And I have a prop sword I may or may not paint this morning. We'll see how we're doing with time once I get these going. Hey Jessica, what am I doing? I am tung oiling and staining my project for this week. I run a shop, Warrior Wooden Props. We make props and practice weapons, and we do custom weapon replicas, things like that. Melee stuff, no firearms or anything crazy like that. Let's see, let's start with this bad boy. I hate when that happens. Well, we'll figure it out in a second. Here we go. But this is in Hapkido they use a thing called a dumbong, which is like a short stick. I put palm anchors on mine, which is a string that you put your middle fingers through. Some dumbong have them, some don't. It's kind of like a hybrid of a traditional Korean Hapkido dumbong and a Japanese Yawara. All right, let me put this bad boy up. How long have I been doing this? Well, that's a weird question. So I started doing this originally in college, and then I stopped doing it for a while. As I got older, I work and stuff like that, and stopped doing it. And then probably back in, I think it was 2022, my life kind of took some weird turns, and so I started doing this. Originally, I started doing this as just a hobby and a way to kind of relieve stress. But then I had a whole bunch of inventory, so I started selling it, and then it kind of got away from me at this point. And this is an American hickory baton. This is a custom order. I had a client who's bought some work clubs for me in the past. Wanted an American hickory baton. It's 22 inches with a 5-inch handle. This is going to get a handle wrap and a real wrist loop in the morning tomorrow. And this is a spear tip for a practice spear that I am making just to see if I can. This is Kumru wood, extremely strong stuff. It has I know it looks thin, but this wood has a Jenka hardness of 3,200 to 3,700 pound force, which is insanely strong. So I decided to make the spearhead out of this. I have a bunch of these laminate pieces. I don't really do laminate in my shop, so thought I'd give it a shot and see how it works as a spearhead. And yeah. All right, I'll put this up. All right. And then we got, so I may also make boken out of Kumru wood, which is very, very strong, as I said. I've got some standard boken. This is a Western style boken. You find these in Japanese dojos very rarely, but you do see them. You used to see them a lot more. You don't so much these days. These are used in Kenjutsu dojos. Back in like the 18th, 19th century, they started using these in dojos to practice against European and Western sword styles. Not sure how effective that was, but you see them every now and then in older dojos. You don't really see, or ryuhas, I should say. You don't really see them so much these days. All right, let me put this bad boy up. And give me 1 sec, 'cause I just realized that I've got some stuff in my drying room that shouldn't be there. I make them, George. I make everything you see here, I make by hand. Thanks, Jesus. Yeah, everything you see in here, I make all this by hand. Everything in my shop is handmade. Most of the wood that I use, not all of it, but a lot of the wood, not most. I should say a lot of the wood that I use is reclaimed wood. I work in custom home renovations, and so I salvage and upcycle a lot of the wood. It helps me keep my costs down. I can't do it with everything, but like my Kumru wood, I've got a lot of Ipe, rosewood, stuff like that I rescue from the dump pretty much when people tear out wood for new home projects. And also everything you see here is available on my eBay shop. Link is in my link tree in my bio for my eBay shop. I also have a website, warriorwoodandprops.com. Do not recommend going there. Shopify, I don't know what they're doing, but for some reason I cannot log into my Shopify account. And Shopify has no customer service at all. Like, all they have are bots. And the bots keep telling me the same thing, to log into my account to fix the problem. But I can't log into my account because that's the problem. So, anyway. All right, let me put this away. We're going to stain some stuff up here. So first I got to stain up the shaft for the practice spear. You just saw the spearhead, so I'm just using a basic wood stick, you could call it, for the shaft. But the way it's going to be put together, if the person wants to replace the shaft with something else, then they can do that. It's not hard to do. I don't use adhesives in a lot of my stuff unless I feel like it's necessary. It should friction fit if everything does what I expect it to do. The spearhead should friction fit into, oh yeah, I guess I should put that in here, into the shaft. So it shouldn't be too hard to just undo the wrappings and pull the spearhead out. It won't be super easy either, but if you got any other questions, stick them in the chat. I'm happy to answer them. Gotta stir my stain up here. Always stir your stain. Stain separates very quickly. I remember one time early on when I first started, I bought wood stain and I went to go stain something and it was clear. And I couldn't figure out why the stain was clear. It's because I hadn't mixed it. Some things you gotta learn the hard way. All right. Over here, you. And that's where the spearhead will go, in that groove there, and it'll get tied down. Question is, can I get the stain into the groove so it doesn't look quite so out of place? There we go. And then I may or may not, once the stain completely cures, I may tung oil this just to give it some added durability. Tung oil works really well to make your wood stronger. It penetrates the grain and dries hard. It's kind of like adding a resin to your wood. Not quite that strong, but it definitely improves the strength of any wood you've got. But if you do it over stain, especially if your stain's oil-based like mine, you have to wait until it is completely cured, which takes a few days. So I guess it comes down to whether or not I want to wait a few days to finish this. Probably will. Hey, Kit Kats, welcome back. Let's see if I can break a window this morning. All right, let me put this bad boy up. All right, so that was provincial stain. For the rest of these, we're gonna switch over to a darker stain. I try to use a darker stain for my vampire steaks. No, these go up for sale on my shop. Some of them people have already ordered. Some of them are just stuff that goes on my shop. The bocan, the steaks. What else did I have? The donbong, and the spear will go up on the shop. The baton is actually for a client of mine. That was a custom order. So it's kind of a mix of the two. Some of these are things that I make to sell on my eBay shop. Some of them are things that that people have ordered for custom orders. I've got a few custom orders in progress right now. I'm working on a gun stock rifle club for one client. I'm working on a Kuromi themed, Kuromi's kind of like I guess a goth Hello Kitty is a good way to describe Kuromi. And I'm working on a Kuromi themed barbed wire bat for another client. I'm working on a checker pattern vampire steak for another client. Actually, I haven't even started that one yet, but I will be soon. But yeah, it's kind of a mix of both. If you're interested in a custom order, you can message me I'm on Instagram at NATRBROWN37. That's NatRBrown37. I'm on Instagram, or you can go to eBay. Just go to any of my listings on eBay, send me a message, let me know what you want. And we can do it through eBay or we can do it off eBay. Doesn't matter to me. You can also email me at natrbrown37@gmail. It's the same name as my Instagram handle, NATRBROWN37@gmail.com. You can email me there and let me know what you're wanting. I don't recommend, I used to tell people to go to my main website. There's a contact button on my website that'll send me an email, but for some reason I found out recently that those emails are not going anywhere. They're not getting to people because they're going straight to the spam folder for some reason. So people will send me emails from my website asking me about custom orders. I reply to them, and then my reply email goes to their spam folder. I'm not sure why that's happening. I hate Shopify so much. I'm currently paying $40 a month for a website that doesn't work because Shopify has no customer service. If you're looking for an online retail site host, I do not recommend using Shopify. It works fine until you need help, and then once something goes wrong, you're on your own, and that really sucks. Then you end up with a website where nothing works. All right. The most complicated custom order I've had to do? Well, I did a custom, I do a lot of custom zombie apocalypse style baseball bats. And I made one for a TikToker slash Instagram person a couple years ago. So it was a unicorn themed baseball bat. I made a purple glittery resin horn, or a pink glittery resin unicorn horn with an LED light embedded in it that then I embedded into the bat. So the bat had a horn on it. So you like you swing it and the horn hits. And there was a switch so you could turn the LED light. When you turn the LED light on, it made the horn light up. And then it had a glittery purple paint job, which was very hard to find glitter purple paint. I found some, and it took a while to get that thing painted. And then it had a rainbow tape handle wrap. That one was pretty complicated. To be honest, though, right now, I'm probably doing my most complicated custom order. It's a gun stock rifle club that I'm doing for a client, and it needs to have like teeth cut into the striking end. I have to have a knife embedded in it. It's gonna be, I know that doesn't sound like much, but that's actually pretty complex to get that all done. Because when you're cutting teeth into wood, you got to make sure everything's symmetrical or as symmetrical as possible. And that is hard to do. If you don't want your teeth to all be different sizes, you want them to look as close to uniform as possible. No one expects perfect uniformity with stuff like that, but you don't want it to stick out like a sore thumb. Hey, Shozy, what's up? Thanks for popping in. It's good to see you again. Thanks for hanging out with me at this ungodly hour. It's freaking early. But the good news is today, you guys, probably not as much as I would like, but I play it quite a bit. And we had a new, I guess you could call it a DLC. It's not really DLC, it's a war bond and new mission types that came out this week. So I am very much looking forward to getting on there with my son this afternoon and fighting for the glory of Super Earth. Yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting making that. Unfortunately, I made it for them. They said they asked me if I would make a custom bat for them for free. I think the name was like B Sparkles or something like that. She has a character called Unicorn Kid, and she asked if I would make a custom bat for her free of charge if she made a video with it. And so I did. I made a freaking amazing custom bat with lights in it and all kinds of stuff. And then she got the bat, and I never heard from her again. So she just let me hang it. So, I try not to repeat that mistake. I don't make stuff for influencers unless I know them a little better. Yeah, it was a dick move. It wasn't nice. Like, she was very communicative during the whole process of me making the bat. She was, and then I sent the bat to her. I spent more money making sure the bat was professionally packed so that it didn't get damaged on the way, because I think she lived in Canada. She lived far away. I can't remember where she lived. And I made sure it got sent in a proper way so that it got to her undamaged. And then, I never heard from her ever again. She didn't reply to my messages on Instagram or anything after that. She just got the bat and ghosted me. Never used it in a video. Never did it. Gave my shop a shout out. Nothing. And I guess, you know, you live and you learn. But I've had other influencers I've made stuff for that they're awesome. You know, like I've made stuff for Nugs the Final Girl. She's here on YouTube. She's also on Instagram, I think, and on TikTok. Nugs the Final Girl. She does like horror movie stuff. I made a nail bat for her. Her lights out meatball nail bat I made for her. Refashioned Hippie, who's also here on YouTube. She does kind of like fashion and clothing. I made a Balenciaga custom baseball bat for her, a Harley Quinn inspired Balenciaga baseball bat for her. She made awesome videos of it. I've had a lot of people that I've made stuff for, either for free or at cost, and they've done great for me. And but that one, for some reason, nope. And of course, it had to be the most complicated and expensive freebie I had ever done that the person flaked out on me about. I never even got a message for her to tell me that she had received it or anything. Like, only reason I know she received it is because the tracking said it was received. That's the only reason. Never heard a word from that lady. B Sparksful. B Sparksful, that's her name. But, you know, I'm not trying to, like, out her or anything. You know, that's, you know, she got it and for whatever reason decided she didn't want to do it. So, that's her prerogative. But I wish she had told me before I sent it to her. Hey, what's up, Charles? Architecture? No, we are not. No, we're not talking about architecture. You got the wrong room, my guy. Right now, I'm staining up some vampire steaks for my shop. These are the most basic steaks that I sell in my shop. The other ones I did, those are cone tips. They get a hand wrap. But these are the cheapest ones, pretty much, that I sell. They're just poplar. They got a pyramidal tip. They look good on camera, but they're pretty inexpensive. I sell a lot of these around Halloween for vampire hunter costumes. Also during con season, I sell a lot of these. Last couple of years, I've had quite a few Buffy the Vampire Slayer cosplayers, which it's nice to see those coming back. From what I understand, they're doing some kind of reboot on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, or at least they're planning to. I don't know if that's even in production yet. I think that might have something to do with it, but I've had a lot of Buffy people buying these steaks. It's funny, too, because these aren't even my... Like, I do Buffy replica steaks. I have a few different kinds of steaks in my shop that are replicas from the movie and from the TV show for Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And those don't sell as often as these do for my Buffy cosplayers. I don't know. I think it's just a matter of cost. These are cheaper. Yeah, so my shop's biggest selling season is the Halloween season. So I pretty much spend... where I'll do a unique design, a unique wood type, and I only make them for that year. They come with a certificate and a serial number and all that, so you know what year and what part of the series of when they were made and all that. But I already sold out of the ones I made for 2025. Those were Pal Ferro wood. I only made a couple because I had an issue where I found out that the Pal Ferro wood I thought I got was not, most of it was not Pal Ferro, so I had to pivot. But this year I'll be making probably about 10 to 15 of the limited edition ones. This year they're going to be made out of Kumru wood. I think I'm going to do like a tapered conical style tip with like a bellied handle. I think that's going to look really cool. Hey, Lord Alcatraz. It's nice to have you back. Oh, you guys lost sound? That was weird. Charles, that's funny. I try not to breathe this stuff in. Yeah, hey, Lord Alcatraz, it's nice to have you here. We missed you. I know everyone's always like, I'm not wearing a respirator when I do my staining. I don't do this for very long, and as soon as I'm done, I have 2 air scrubbers in my shop that I run to get all the fumes out. When I start working on this prop sword over here, I may have to run the air scrubbers. I don't know. It's an enamel paint that I'm using on it, so I probably should. Which I apologize in advance. If I stay on live for it, it's going to be loud. So just let you know. My air scrubbers are not quiet. I'll put the one that's closest to the camera on, or closest to the mic. I'll put that one on a low setting so it's not crazy loud. This is my second attempt to make a stage-safe Okome prop sword. Okome is a very light wood. It's decay resistant though, and it holds its weight very well, but it's light enough that if you were to hit someone with the sword, it would dent, and you know, it would, if you hit someone hard enough to do damage, honestly, it would break. So, which is kind of what you want in a prop sword. You don't want a prop sword that's going to actually hurt somebody if a mistake is made during stage combat. So, and I've had Okome wood in my shop because it comes with a pack of wood that I normally buy. I've been trying to figure out what to do with it, and I found out that it's used in prop making quite a bit for that reason, so I started making props out of it. Trying to get a stage-ready sword that looks good, though, has been a bit of a struggle. I used chrome paint on the first one, and that chrome paint, if you so much as touch it, man, it gets really bad flaws in the paint. And so a mentor of mine recommended aluminum instead of chrome-based paint, so we'll see if that works. All right. Practice short swords? Yes, I do make practice short swords. Aluminum tape? Yeah, aluminum tape wouldn't look great, though, on a sword, I don't think. On a prop sword. It would work. I don't think it would look awesome. All right. Sorry guys, I gotta rearrange some stuff here. I gotta get this area clear before I start painting. All right, let's see. Let me clean my hands real quick since I've been handling stain. I am very paranoid about paint transfer. All right, let me kick on the air scrubbers here. All right, take care, Lord Alcatraz. Enjoy eating your foods. So this is the prop sword. It's got primer on it already. And it's scuffed, so we're gonna try this aluminum enamel and see how it looks. So with stuff like this, I normally paint one side, then I paint the other. Thanks for the likes, everybody. So today I'm just gonna paint the one side and then I'm gonna let it sit. And then tomorrow I'll probably come back and do the other one. I got a glove back up. For this one, honestly, I may have to put my respirator on. We'll see how bad the fumes are. I've got the air scrubber running next to me, so we'll see. Brand new can of paint. Been a while since I've had to do that. Good gracious, is that enough dust? Oh, thanks, George. Yeah, I know. It's enamel paint. I've got an air scrubber running next to me. I'm probably going to put my respirator on after I open it and get it stirred. We'll see. It's hard. It's going to be hard for you guys to hear me if I put the mask on, so I try not to use it during lives. Ooh, this is... Oh man, this is gonna take a minute. This stuff has separated really bad. It looks cool though. I was worried it might be too dull, but it doesn't look like it's going to be. Oh man, that is really clumped up at the bottom. It looks like the aluminum additive in this kind of clumps up at the bottom, so I think this mixing could take a minute. Put lid back on and shake it. Yeah, so I don't do that mostly because I don't want to get air bubbles in my paint. But if it doesn't finish mixing here pretty quick, I might actually do that, John. I know it's not that big a deal, the bubbles in the paint. I work with my boss at my day job when I work in custom home renovations and painting, and my boss is a real stickler about stuff like that, so I habitually don't do it, but I think I might have to. You might be right. Well, it's starting to, yeah, there we go, we're okay. It's mixing up. Let's see. Probably should have grabbed a shop towel before I did that, but better late than never. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's not bad. All right. Why? It still feels like it needs to mix. We may have to leave this out so I can remix while I'm painting, because that may be necessary. All right, people, moment of truth. Let's see how this looks. Thank you, Jacobe. Yeah, it's a good color. We're gonna start on the handle so that I can see what it's gonna look like. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's not bad. So, yeah. I normally spray paint stuff like this, but the last time when I tried to spray paint it, I ended up with a lot of drips. This metallic paint, a lot of times, I don't know, it has a tendency to run. So, I decided this time I would just use a brush-on enamel. So that I don't get runs in my paint. When you're putting paint on, also just a pro tip, when you get done putting your paint on, you're gonna have start and stop points with your brush. So when you finish putting the paint on, you want to go from one end all the way across to the other on any surfaces that you've got, so that you don't see start and stop points. The brush marks, luckily, for the most part, the brush marks will even themselves out. Gravity will do the work for that, but start and stop points, it will not. All right, and then I don't think that's too bad. Let's see if I can lift this up. That's not too bad. We'll see what it looks like when it dries. What I may do, I've got some silver enamel acrylic that I might go over the blade edge with to give the blade edge some contrast. It's not sparkly, but it's not dull. We'll see what it looks like when it dries, of course. And then I gotta go clean this brush in a minute. I don't know if I will clean that brush. It's actually a pretty cheap brush. These little chip brushes are super cheap. So with your paint cans, by the way, if you're gonna have a paint that you're probably gonna have stored for a while, it's always a good idea to clean the edge of the thread. It's a good way to keep your paint cans from getting glued shut by dried paint. There's only so much you can do. It's gonna get messy, but all right. And you always, if you can, use a hammer to make sure your paint cans are shut. Because just pushing on the lid, sometimes it feels like you closed it and you didn't. All right, put this up. Well, you guys, that might be it for me today. Just gonna clean some stuff up. If you got any questions, pop them in the chat before I head out. I will gladly answer them. I gotta get out of this room and run my air scrubbers on high to get all the fumes out and all that stuff. But I know you guys can probably see that this hasn't been done yet. When I flip it tomorrow and do the other side will get painted and the other edge will get painted. You never want to rush it with paint. Do I do this every morning? No. Mostly Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings I do my live streams. I do Saturday staining on Saturday mornings, which, by the way, Saturday staining may be turning into Friday staining. It may be Friday afternoons moving forward. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. For right now, though, Saturday staining is going to stay at 7:30 a.m. on Saturdays. And then I do Sunday finishing work where I finish all this stuff. I do handle wraps and all those things, all the final touches on all my projects on Sunday mornings at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Sundays. So I will be back tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. to finish all the stuff that I stained and oiled today. So I will be back on tomorrow. And you know, one thing I might do, hold on one second. I might do a quick test. Let me get a test block here. I just want to put a little bit of this silver enamel on it. Oh, I hate when they do this. Why do they use foil seals on paint? It drives me nuts. Use something that I can tear off. I don't want to have to be poking holes and stuff and get my hands all messed up. Which I just did. Alright, let's see how this stuff looks. Just going to put a little bit of it. Huh. Actually, as far as I can tell, they're about the same color. The aluminum paint and the silver paint look about the same. So I'm not sure that's going to work for contrast. But if this aluminum enamel paint doesn't work out, I may switch to this silver acrylic for the next test run. Which, by the way, when I make new stuff that doesn't work out, a lot of times I just auction it on eBay for very cheap. So if you want something on the cheap, buy my failures, you know. The last one of these I made, I used the chrome paint, and it ended up with like just finger marks and stuff all over it, because that chrome paint, like even with gloves on, if I touched it, you could not touch it, and it made it impossible to work with. You know, I have to put handle wraps and stuff on it, so I can't work with something that's going to get marred up even if I'm wearing gloves. So I switched to this paint. But that first one that I made that was all messed up, I sold that one for like 10 bucks, I think, on eBay in auction. So yeah, if you want anything of mine on the cheap, I tend to auction off my failures. I don't have any drips on this side, do I? No, I don't. Awesome. Awesome possum. Oh, thanks, George. I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming around and to watch. Honestly, my Sunday finishing work's a little more interesting than this. I do, you know, you get to see what everything kind of looks like at the end. My Saturdays is, like I said, it's mostly just me staining. I really started doing these live streams just because it's really boring. This is like the boring part. And it gives me something to do and somebody to talk to while I do it. So if you're interested in seeing how all this looks when it's done, come check me out tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And I will be on here. I'll be over in the other room, in my finishing room or drying room. I'll be over there doing handle wraps and wrist loops and all that jazz. I got I got a baton that I got to handle wrap and put a wrist loop in. I've got a practice spear I have to assemble. I've got 6 poplar stakes that I'm going to have to handle wrap. And yeah, that's it. Oh, thanks, George. I appreciate the subscription. Appreciate it. Well, you guys, unless you have any other questions, I think I'm going to call it a day. I got to go do adult stuff like grocery shopping and laundry and all that kind of stuff. And then early this afternoon, meet up with my kid on Helldivers 2, and we're gonna get out there and run some stealth missions and F up some automatons in the name of managed democracy and the glory of Super Earth. So, let's see, how long was this? Not bad, just an hour. All right, you guys, I am out. As always, thanks for hanging out with me at Saturday Standing. I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time for Sunday finishing work. Links to my shop are in my link tree in my bio. Where You're Winning Props is on eBay. Please don't use the main website. It is down. All right, you guys, I'm out of here. Take care.